she's caught.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome back to Pecan Hill. This week's episode is about injuries and damages. Those injuries and damages range from catastrophic total destruction to a near miss that could have been absolutely horrendous. So stay tuned until the end of this episode, where I'll show you what happened to our Jersey Holstein 3-week-old heifer that I honestly think we probably would have lost her had we not been there to catch it. To another moderate injury to a little calf, which we hope will be okay. It's going to include a visit from our vet and another episode from our Jersey Sunny, who continues to have problems, and we're starting to think they're probably serious. So let me tell you a little bit about this vehicle. This is our 1997 Jeep Cherokee. Emily and I have had Cherokees for a lot of years, going back even before we were married. She had one. I got this one a few years ago because it had a bad engine in it, and we knew that. It had no oil pressure. Some things happened, and another Cherokee was wrecked, providing me with an engine to put in it. It wasn't the ideal engine because it already had 180,000 miles on it, but everyone talks about the longevity of these 4.0 Jeeps, and so I sort of thought, well, I know a little bit about the history of this one that I have. It has really good oil pressure. It's had regular oil changes, and so I'm going to go ahead and swap it because I already have it and it costs me nothing. Everyone talks about how indestructible these 4.0s are. However, that did not turn out to be the case with this one. So let me show you what happened. So this engine was making some noise, and I was aware of that, but I did not expect this. It blew the side of the block out, and here is the corner of that engine block that just got blown out. So what happened was a connecting rod broke, or actually probably more accurately, the piston where it connects broke off, and just carnage ensued. So the expansion plug got pushed out. You can see where it was rubbing right there, and I'll get the camera down in there and show where the camshaft was actually broken. Kind of hard to get a good angle in there, but look at that. Hard to see very well, but what's left of that piston. Broken half. And then look at that piston all up in there. That's crazy. Just taking the oil pan off, and we're gonna see what's in the bottom. Oh wow, look at that. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Bearing still feels really good. Look at that connecting rod though. Since a new engine isn't in the budget, I found what I hope is a good used engine. Had to make a little drive into the big city to pick it up. It has a 3-month warranty, so I'll at least be sure it runs and sounds okay. Beyond that, anybody's guess. I sure am glad not to have to deal with that traffic anymore. Probably won't be in this video, but I'm going to get this engine put back in hopes to get our Jeep running again, and bring you up to speed on that probably in the next episode. Let's get back to the homestead. On a happier note, we put Sunny and Ruby and their calves back with the rest of the herd, and that was fun to watch. Ruby always has beef to settle with a steer and another cow. I guess she's always trying to improve her position in the herd. So whenever there's a reunion, they have to work that out all over again. Sunny can't be bothered with herd hierarchy nonsense. She was just happy for new grass to graze. And Slider was happy to be back with his brothers. And Winnie just couldn't stop running and kicking her heels up. In some ways, having livestock is like having kids. You have to be okay with them struggling, and you can't expect things to be trouble-free. When you tie your personal contentedness to things going smoothly, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, or worse. Sunny is teaching us this lesson. The fun of seeing the herd integrated again didn't last long. Later in the week, Wyatt came running to tell us Sunny was on her back having another seizure-like event. The two of us sprinted to her as quickly as we could. When I got to her, she was all the way on her back, paddling in the air, unable to get up. I was able to get her right side up before we caught things on camera, but I quickly got tossed aside as she continued to struggle. She was throwing herself into the fence, so I managed to get between her and the fence in hopes of preventing her from getting cut up again. We found an awesome mobile vet, so I called her, and she was able to get here just after Sunny got back on her feet, which was about 20 minutes later. She examined her and reviewed the footage that we were able to record. There's a pretty strong suspicion that we're dealing with a heart or brain issue, and we're not sure where that leads us. Diagnostic testing is needed, and that's not easy or affordable. She told us that it really doesn't appear she's suffering after she's alert and on her feet again, but there's also the chance we won't see the next one, and eventually we may not be there to help, and we may find her out in a pasture somewhere, having not made it. That's a reality we have to face. The injuries don't stop there, unfortunately. Our little steer Gus has injured himself somehow, resulting in a damaged hoof that he doesn't want to put any weight on. There's a cut there, so there's concern for infection. After watching him for a couple days, I decided to reach out to the vet, so she's making a return trip to get him taken care of. I hate spending this money on him, but Dexter steers don't finish out for 24 to 48 months ideally. That's 18 months for him, or more. Leaving him hobbled for that amount of time isn't the kind of animal husbandry I have in mind, so we're getting him fixed up. It is true that we're going to eventually process him, but I want our animals to have the best life possible until that time comes. That's my view anyway. Well, it's a few days later, and my plans have unfortunately changed. The vet canceled on us, and I can't get another appointment for a few more days, so I'm going to see if I can round Gus up and get a closer look at him just to make sure there's no infection setting in. He's still limping, but not as bad as it was. Fortunately, he's pretty docile and willing to let us have a look. I don't see any signs of infection or hoof rot or anything like that for now, so I'm spraying it down with some blue coat and we'll continue to keep an eye on him until we can get him in. All right, buddy. You're free. Good job, dude. Emily and I had finished evening chores and we were watching the herd play before we went in. Just before turning to head to the house, I thought I saw Winnie fall. I immediately panicked, thinking she was having a seizure too, and went running. I've tested this new hip I've got a few too many times this week. Turns out she had somehow gotten tangled up in a loose barbed wire. I didn't realize how loose it was or how big of a problem that can be. Another newbie mistake that could have been horrible. Fortunately, she's okay, and the fence is mended so that hopefully that doesn't happen again. A well-known businessman said, "Problems that can be solved with money aren't problems." For a long time, I thought, yeah, that's easy for a wealthy person to say. But there are things in life that money can't fix, and those are the things we should be concerned with. Health and wellness probably falls into that category to some degree. I can buy all the parts I need to fix my Jeep, and it'll be fine. But fixing a heart or brain, that's another thing. I always have to remind myself of the things that matter the most. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and hope you have a great day.